All right, everyone. So we're going to start the class and the course. We're talking about writing. Now, this is a business communications class, and you will be doing other things besides writing. As you well know, we went over this with the course syllabus. But let's start focusing on writing. And some of the things we need to focus on with writing are also the same things that we're going to be looking at when we are doing verbal presentations or oral presentations. So this communication is true for all types of communication. Some of the things that we forget about is the pre-writing, the drafting, and the revising. It's the same thing when we talk. We have to stop and think about why we're saying something, how we're going to say it, and we might even have to revise before we even talk what we're going to be saying. All right, so pre-writing is analyzing the audience and the purpose. Why are you writing this particular email? For the most part, folks in this class, we will be typing emails. All right. You have to anticipate your audience and the reaction to the message. Very important. When you talk to your children, you don't talk to your 8-year-old the same way you would talk to your 15-year-old. The same thing, you wouldn't talk to your significant other the same way that you would talk to a child. So you adapt your message to the audience. So it's important that you understand the reason. What's the burning passion for you to write this particular email? Why are you writing this email? And if it's geared to a particular audience, what is the audience? How old is the audience? What is their background? So that they can hear your message a whole lot easier. And adapting the message to the audience. Now, when they talk about research background, they mean collecting information. So if you're sending an email, explaining something or outlining a procedure, you have to get everything in place in terms of planning this, how you're going to, all the steps that you're going to need if you're going to tell somebody how to do something effectively. You have to organize your information and draft. Whenever you send me anything, folks, it is a draft. This is not the finished product. Okay? So that's the whole point of writing intensive, is to revise your work. Everything that you're doing is a draft until you're really comfortable. And it takes a long time to be a good writer. Revising, the difference between editing and proofreading. Anybody could figure out what editing is. Anybody can figure out what proofreading is. Thinking in terms of, and I'll use this as a discussion board question, what is the difference between proofreading and editing? Okay, and that's very important for you to see that. Evaluate whether the message will accomplish goals, meaning did the email do what it was supposed to do? Okay, so that's really important. But think in terms of what editing and proofreading are, because you might even want to look at it in your textbook. Okay? All right, 50% of our writing is revising. We all know how to pre-write, plan. The same thing when you make a phone call, a business phone call, certainly not a call to your friend or your significant other, your children. But you plan what you're going to say when you make a business call. So you plan what you're going to write. You draft. That's why it's called draft. It's not the finished product. And then 50% is revising. Okay? And I'm not going to go through all of the learning objectives. That's neither here nor there. Now, let's take a look at anticipating and profiling the audience. Who is your primary reader or listener? Is this professional or is it personal or professional? What position is held in the organization? How much is known about the topic? The person's education, beliefs, culture, and attitudes. Will the reaction be neutral, positive, or negative? Now, you can see, folks, that writing or speaking, if you're making a presentation to the class or to a colleague, how much is involved? You just don't roll out of bed and start running off at the mouth. Okay? So you have to find out who your audience is. Why are you writing this? To whom are you writing this or addressing this issue? And what are you going to say? Secondary audience simply means how is supply more background information, reshape message for secondary audience. Your primary audience is the audience that you have in front of you, or the person who's going to receive your email. There really is not a secondary person. There's not a secondary audience. You're really gearing for the primary audience. Now, this is extremely, extremely important. What's in it for me? This is what we call the you attitude, and this is going to be extremely important in your writing, in your presentations, in your talking to people for the rest of your life. All right. Now, most of you in this class are business students, meaning management or accounting or office technology. And some of you are liberal arts and other areas. Regardless, the primary focus is to get your reader to get your message. And the way to get that message is to find out, to let the reader know why this particular message is important for that person. Give you an example. You're going to the store, you're going to buy something, all right? Or even better than that, every once in a while you notice when you're on YouTube or anything, there are commercials, unless you get one of these streaming services that doesn't have that. But what is every single commercial trying to do? Yes, get you to buy something. They don't tell you to buy something because it's helpful for the business. What's the difference between a Mercedes and a Toyota? Both cars get you to the Bronx or to Brooklyn or, to Jersey. But the Mercedes is going to sell you on the fact that it's glamorous, that it's, everybody wants a Mercedes. You want to be the best one, the first one in your building to get a Mercedes. Look at all the prestige that you would have. It is gearing you, the individual, to buy a Mercedes. Toyota can't compete with the style and the glamour and the reputation of a Mercedes. However, what it can do is sell on the reliability that you need to have a Toyota better than you would a Mercedes, because the Toyota is more reliable. You won't have to worry about having it breaking down, taking care of it and all of this other stuff. So the idea with your writing, the idea with your speaking is to let the person know how important you are, and selling that product or getting that message across to that person as to the importance of it for that person's life. If you think in terms of your children, they're in 8th grade or 9th grade. Well, Mom, we're going on a senior trip. We're going on a trip and I need $10. That turns you off completely, because all you heard was $10. Why does this child need $10 to go on a trip? This is a public school, so why should I have to pay for this? Your child, to make this more attractive to you, would say, well, Ma, you're always talking about the importance of education and how I have to go outside and learn different things, that I don't learn everything in school. Well, the high school is sending us on a field trip to the botanical gardens in the Bronx, and to learn more about the sciences that we're learning in class and to get a real view. And it would be really helpful, Mom, if you could give me the $10. So this way it could expand my knowledge, and I could even share with you what I've learned. Now, you didn't hear the $10. What did you hear? That your son or daughter was so excited about learning something and how beneficial that learning would be for the child. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we mean by what's in it for me. And we're going to talk more about this later on, but it is extremely important. The whole idea of business is to make a profit for you. You'll never make a profit for yourself if you're going to sit down there and say how wonderful your product is. What is that product or that service doing for that individual that you're selling it to? How would that person's life change? That's the whole idea. Back in the days when nobody even heard of microwave, until people realized that they were being sold on the importance of a microwave. Now we can't do it on a microwave. Same thing with a cell phone. You didn't have cell phones before, but the manufacturers and the advertisers made it so that they made you an offer that you couldn't refuse. So it's really important for you to see that. Okay? Spotlight the audience benefits. Look at this. The warranty begins right away. The warranty starts working for you immediately. Now, when I say the you attitude, that does not always mean you have to use the word you. All right. The you attitude means that you are concentrating and focusing on the benefit for that person. That's what's really important. Okay. So here we go. We have created an account dashboard that we love. Who cares? Who cares whether the company loves or not? Here's something better. Your account dashboard gives you complete control. Now, again, they're using the word you, but the idea, you see the difference between the two of these. All right? The first one is talking about myself as the company, how wonderful I walk on water and all of this. But your account dashboard gives you complete control, is addressing the individual. What is this, the client, the person that you want to reach? Very, very, very important. Okay? And be conversational but professional. Your report was totally awesome. Definitely not, unless you know the person really well. Your report was well written. You see this over here? Negative words. Two things we're going to try to do. Develop the you attitude, or the what's in it for me, looking at the aspect of the client and the person you're serving, and getting rid of negative words. We use far too many negative words in our speech and in our writing. We can't ship until May 1st. Look at the difference between we can't ship. The person already turned you off. We can ship on May 1st. Instead of saying your writing is terrible, we can improve your writing by having you concentrate on sentence structure. You see the difference between the two? All right, that's the point that I'm getting at. This takes practice. You didn't roll out of bed and learn this yesterday. Okay, be courteous. You must complete the report. Please complete the report goes a whole lot further than you must complete the report. Never, ever use biased language, especially now in the 21st century. You see that you guys and all of that nonsense? You cannot be gender specific. All right? Our office workers can do this. Our personnel, our floor managers, all general, could be male or female. This is the 21st century. Anybody can be, male or female could do anything. And now with gender fluidity, people move in and out of different genders. So we cannot use the traditional way we were taught a million years ago. And some of you, by a million years ago, I mean just yesterday. Okay, it doesn't have to be older people. Okay, so that's very, very important. Get rid of biased language. Okay, use plain language and simple, particularly those of you whose English is either your second or third language. If English is a second or third language, then you have to use simple words. My Spanish is terrible, but I make sure that I use simple words because I don't know the larger vocabulary, and I want to get my point across. Okay? Now look at this. Please use precise and vigorous words. Please contact me. How many times have you heard somebody say, I'll contact you? Well, they can contact you between now and the 22nd century. Please email me. Please contact me via email or send me a chat or whatever, a text or use chat. Be specific and give dates. When people say to me, we ought to get together for lunch, I always initiate and say, I'm available on such and such a date. All right? Otherwise, you're never going to get this done. Okay? So it's very, very important. Okay? Sender folk developing the reader benefits and the you attitude. Look at this. We are requiring all staffers to complete these forms in compliance with company policy. Look at the difference. Please complete these forms so that you will be eligible for health and dental benefits. You see the difference? Instead of the we need to look at the you. Because we need more space for our new inventory, we're having a 2-for-1 sale. This 2-for-1 sale enables you to buy a year's supply of supplies, that you don't need that, but pay only for 6 months worth. Okay, this could be edited even better, but you get the idea that we're looking at what's in it for me, meaning the person, the client, or the company, or anything that you want to get the point across, including your family. Okay, and we take pleasure in announcing an agreement we made with HP Hewlett-Packard to allow us to offer discounted printers in the student store. An agreement with Hewlett-Packard allows you and other students to buy discounted printers at your student store. We are issuing a refund. You will receive a refund. It's how much better it is for you to say, oh, okay, yeah, I'm going to receive a refund. We are issuing a refund. Doesn't have the same thing as saying you're going to receive a refund. I have a few questions on which I would like your feedback. Because your feedback is important. Look at how important this is. We want to be concise, but we want to be courteous, and we want to make sure that we grab the reader's attention. Please tell us your thoughts. Look at this. The second thing that we're going to talk about is negative expression. You overlooked. the hidden message is that you're careless or you don't know what you're doing. You state that, but I don't believe you. You fail to look at all of this. You are wrong. Never tell people that they're wrong. Of course not. Those of you in business, there is no way you can tell your client that you're wrong. Always say, okay, that there's something else that needs to be improved. Maybe we can work on this together. Never tell anybody that they don't understand. I can say to you, when I read your writing, when I'm correcting your writing, I can say to you, I'm not sure I understand the point that you're making. Please clarify. Okay? All right? Understand what these negative expressions mean, the hidden message. Okay? So I wanted to make sure that you understood the importance of what we're doing in this class to improve your communication skills. The first thing to think about, who is your audience? Who is your reader? Who are you transmitting this information? How are you getting it across? You have to concentrate on the person. That's number one. And number two is getting rid of negative words. So that's what we're going to concentrate on this assignment. And if we take a look at what your assignment is, okay, all of these, and you're going to read chapter 4, which is the lesson that I just went through with you. You have the PowerPoint. Please do not submit the quiz. The quiz is just to help you make sure that you understand the material. And the last thing is the e-portfolio. All of your assignments are due. The assignment for e-portfolio is due February 24th. That's your first draft. Notice that I said if you've already created an e-portfolio in another class, do not create a new one. Just update it. And if you're taking other classes with me, you're not creating an e-portfolio for each class. Using the one e-portfolio for all of the classes. Okay? Your writing assignments are all going to be due next week. You have a team assignment. Okay? 2 team assignments. Who's going to be the manager? And you're going to work on your first team assignment, creating a team name, a logo, a mission statement, and a team motto or tagline. What is your team all about? Okay? And that is going to be due February 10th. These 2 assignments are certainly not difficult, and neither is the individual assignment. We're looking at your communication skills, and we're also looking at your leadership skills. All right, folks? Any questions? Post in Q&A. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.